Okay, welcome to the next to last word. I don't usually do live streams because I'm ugly and I don't want to be on camera. But I thought this was a little too important, a little too sensitive. I want to do it in person because I know that the opposition likes to cling to any little bit of mistakes, a little bit of missteps that you take, and any excuse you can give them to discount what you say, they'll take it. Like you just did an AI video, you must not really believe what you're saying. Well, guess what? I believe what I'm about to say, and you should too, and you should take it seriously. So, as you may or may not be aware, at Charlie Kirk's memorial service, Stephen Miller gave a speech that was directly lifted from a speech given by one of the Nazi propagandist, Joseph Goebbels. And it was a very inspiring speech about the storm, and I am the storm, and I'm going to turn my grief into political hate, which is what they specialize in. So we don't need to debate anymore about whether the Republican Party is actually the fascist party. They are. It's pretty much, that's all you got to say. I mean, if he's literally plagiarizing his speech from a Nazi propagandist speech, that pretty much seals the deal. So what's left is you need to decide if that's for you. If you think that the fascist dictatorship is the way to go, I would suggest that you go live in Hungary or you go live in North Korea and see how well that country is thriving under dictatorship. And then if you like that kind of form of government, you should stay there, because this American is not designed to be a fascist state. It's a democratic republic, and we would like it to stay that way. So we're claiming the American side of this argument. If you're MAGA, you're actually a fascist. If you're a Republican, you're a fascist. Any self-respecting Republican would have gotten out of that long ago. Long ago. You could see this coming. It's not like they're even trying to hide it anymore. So any reasonable Republican is pretty much, kicked to the curb, and it's all, cultists and fascists. The cultists, just anything that Trump does, they love him for it. He even calls them, stupid and weak, and they just are like, oh, please take us back. Forgive me for caring about whether Trump's in the Epstein files. That's completely my fault. And that's the thing too, is like, if we were going to go the fascist dictator route, we couldn't find a better quality person. You got to pick this guy who's actually been convicted of sexual abuse and is more than likely, a pedophile. That's the guy you pick to be our first dictator? No. I think this ordeal with Jimmy Kimmel shows that there's still enough thoughtful people left that we can fight back against this. We don't have to accept this as our fate. Fascism is not an American ideology, and it never will be. So you can be a fascist. You have the right to be a fascist because you have free speech. But you can't impose that on the United States, because that's just not where we stand. There's always been a Nazi movement in the U.S., but, it's a fringe cult following. It's just like any of those fruitcake ideologies. They'll always be around, but we don't need to take them seriously. I don't need to be debating in comments with fascists either. these people will try to call out any mistake you made or anything that Biden said, 12 years ago to try to, defend Trump, because that's just what they do. It's amazing how people can still defend Trump after he calls them stupid and weak. It's like you're a battered child making excuses for your alcoholic father who beats you, and you're like, oh, but he didn't mean it. He just had a bad day. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like, folks. That's why it's called a cult. And I was speculating, the only difference between a cult and a religion is the number of members. So, theoretically, the MAGAs could actually be a religion. And that's a twisted thought, isn't it? A fascist religion. It's up there with the Satanists and the Nazis and the pedophiles. There will always be a segment of the population that's into that sort of thing, and all we can do is fight it. That's all we can do. That's just, yeah. All right. I think I'm done here. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe. I hesitate in the comment part because I know that this is not going to reach reasonable people. It's only going to reach the lunatics, and that's who's going to comment, because that's what happens. But, sure. Go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not turning off the comments. So say what you got to say, but you're not trying to convince me anymore. Okay. That's what we need to get straight right now. You're trying to convince yourself that Trump's not an actual fascist, even though everything he does points in that direction. It's kind of like if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck. Well, if it talks like a fascist and it acts like a fascist, it's a fascist. You can try to reason that away, but the fact is going to remain. And I got to tell you that I don't think Americans are going to have it. And, you're attacking our government, our form of government, and I don't think we can take that lightly. I don't think we can take that laying down. It's a really crazy, scary time to be alive, isn't it?